Alright, so this is my 1966 F-250 with twin I-beam suspension on the front end. I've seen a lot of controversy on the internet of whether or not you can lift these trucks with a simple front axle flip. So today we're going to put this to rest once and for all and give it a shot. Alright, so I have the truck jacked up and tires pulled off, and just looking at the issues I see right off the bat, looks like the shocks aren't going to have to do anything weird because they're connected to the radius arm. Keep alignment, we're probably going to have to swap the left side with the right side, so hopefully they're the same length. And of course the elephant in the room I'm seeing is the steering linkage. Once that's flipped, it's not going to line up quite the same way with the radius arms. So we'll have to see what we got to do to improvise that once we get to that point. But other than that, little things like brake lines aren't going to be long enough, so I have to reposition those or get longer ones, but simple stuff. Other than that, looks like it should be a workable concept. Looks like what we got to do next is we got to pull out both of our pivot bolts on the axles. Got to disconnect the coil spring, and then should be able to flip them and swap them. And then we're just gonna pull out these 4 bolts and flip the whole brake drum and bearing assembly so that our brake lines are still on the top side. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so confession. Turns out you do have to take off the radius arm and the shock, not because it needs to be relocated, but just because there's a second bolt on this radius arm that you need to be able to access to remove it from the axle. Alright, so we got the second axle off now. Now I can start swapping things over and see how it goes. As it turns out, the nuts holding the brake drums on are not welded to the backside or anything, so you gotta open it all up and pull your bearings off and hold on to it from the backside too, I guess. Alright, so I just pulled out the kingpin so I can get since we flipped the axle, I gotta move the bearing back to the load bearing side of the spindle. Now our spindle's got a little bit of a offset here, so if my alignment's off I might have to come back and flip that too, but we'll see how that goes. When you go to move that bearing over, you'll find that the notch for the lock bolt doesn't line up anymore, so you're gonna have to grind a new one into the kingpin so everything lines up again. Got all my suspension put back on, and I'm gonna go with this being a hard negative for success. Not only do we have horrible camber, but also on the driver's side we have way less clearance between the tire and the fender than we do on the passenger side, as you can see. So this might be possible to make it work if you're to put a lot of time and modifications in, but at that point you might as well just do it right. So there you have it. Helpful to you and you would like to see more of my future projects with this truck, please hit the like button and subscribe.